My girlfriend made an offhand comment about her sexual past that made me feel really uncomfortable. Me, 22, and my girlfriend, 24, of 11 months were watching a chick flick that she wanted to watch and cuddle up. In the movie there was a scene where a bunch of women were sitting around and ranking all the men they slept with. One of the characters was in a relationship and was ranking FWBS over her boyfriend in bed. I really should have just kept my mouth shut, but I said I thought it was weird that she'd put FWBS over a current partner. My girlfriend said that most girls' best sex partner FWBS are casual hookups, not their boyfriends or husbands. I was taken aback, as she had a bunch of FWBS in the past, and I don't any man would feel good about knowing explicitly that they aren't the best sex partner that someone they love has had. It wasn't something I thought about because I don't rank partners on performance in bed. All I said was, "Oh." She then said, "Yeah, that's because for FWBS all the relationship is sex, so it needs to be mind-blowing. If you're with something, sex being like that isn't as important." At that point I was really bothered. She then really read my face, got all flustered, turned red, and was then like, "Don't worry, we have good sex and a great relationship. That's what I want above all else. Those other guys may have been great in bed, but that didn't make me love them or want to be with them." This happened like 3 weeks ago and it's still bothering me, because she pretty much said that her FWBS are better in bed than me to my face. Doesn't help me to get to the point where I am blowing her mind, and has no issue comparing the physical connection we have with hers with other people. I didn't think women actually did this stuff, but I guess I was wrong. Is this a red flag, or should I just ignore this? My friend, this is a road you don't want to go down on. The more you think about it, the bleaker things get out to be. I'm sure that she regrets letting that little nugget slip out. It would have bothered me too. I might know theoretically that I may not be the best sex my wife ever had, but I sure as hell don't want to hear it. Just like she wouldn't want to hear the words in reverse. Well, personally I think if what she meant was the FWB I've had in the past were better than you, she wouldn't have said anything at all. It sounds like she literally meant exactly what she said, which is usually FWB have to be better than a relationship because sex is all there is to it. It sounds like you're overthinking it and you either need to let her go or live with that. She might have had sex that she thought was higher caliber than the sex you two had at some point in her life, but she chose you anyway. Lots of great comments about discussing this with your partner, and I agree no one wants to hear this, but sex for women is more complex than for men. Some partners are going to be better at it physically, naturally, and some are going to have to work and communicate more to sync up. It's an unpopular opinion, but I agree. I'd rather have someone who I love and is willing to try and work on this aspect than someone who is meh in terms of relationship and great in bed. Have you ever talked about her needs in bed? What really gets her going? Foreplay? Toys? Penetration? Clit stimulation? It might just be that a little communication and experimentation are needed to take that top spot. You have to work to have healthy and great relationships, and if working on taking sex from a to A+ is your biggest problem, is it really that bad? Talk about it with her. If it's a priority to be her best, you should tell her that. Tell her that her comments hurt. Her attitude hurt. Great mutually mind-blowing sex is something that is important to you in a long-term relationship, and it's affected your ability to please her and connect with her. None of this nonsense that someone else is just better than you and there's nothing to be done. Default attitude from a lot of the crowd saying you should get over it. You can both work at having the best sex of your lives with each other. It's called communication. If it's not a priority for her, or it's not going to become a priority to work on this with you, then it's up to you if you want to reevaluate the relationship at that point. I would, especially that early in a relationship. TBH, this sort of thing is something that kinda comes along with hookup culture. The higher someone's count is, the more likely this will be the case and the harder it will be to take that top spot. I'm gonna take an unpopular view here. What you are feeling is absolutely normal, and there is nothing wrong with it. Do people actually think this way? I've had a few casual partners. Probably less than most. But sex is just inherently better with a loving partner. Someone who takes the time to know what you like and loves you and appreciates you. The sex life I have with my partner is miles ahead of the novelty one-offs with others. Sorry, you had to hear this op. What a horrible thing to say. I don't know how old you are, but you will come to learn that not everything has to be 100% for a full and happy life. If work, sex, health are averaging 80%, you have it made. And I would rather have a loving and devoted wife and good sex than a shitty wife and great sex. Why would it be a red flag? Do you expect to be the best at everything? People don't date new people because they are the new best at everything. Fucking weird. My wife was and is the best sex I ever had and part of the reason why I married her. If you are settling for mid-tier sex, how do you not yearn for top-tier sex in the future? FWB was just casual convenient sex for me. The freaky shit came out with long-term partners. I feel like a lot of these comments are missing the point. I get where you're coming from op. You need to tell her that her words were insensitive, that she hurt you, and that it bothers you that you aren't her best. Because to you that's something really important. Make it clear that you want to be. Then judge what to do next based on her reaction. Can people stop projecting their own experiences onto the majority? In an Ask Women post today I commented how I can't orgasm unless the intimacy of a committed partner is there, and got a decent amount of upvotes presumably from other women. This is honestly something I never want to know the answer to in my relationship. My partner had lots of experience before we got together while I didn't have any. I just assume that I'm not the best he's had. I also wouldn't assume he's with me because we have the best sex. I understand her logic though. I don't think I would be into hookups and the sex would have to be really good to make up for the lack of emotional connection, intimacy. I can understand why you would be upset, but I think you're reading too deeply into what she said. I don't know about a red flag, but definitely insensitive. Maybe you could use it as an opportunity to set your ego aside. Not saying that your ego is a problem here, by the way. And communicate with her that you want to be her best and start working towards taking the title from the other plebs. I'd just accept it. I mean, some dudes and chicks are just really kinky and willing to do more than the people you are currently with. I love my wife, but I'd be lying if I said she was absolutely the best sex I've ever had. It's kind of true. Some of my best sex, just thinking from a pure physical pleasure standpoint, was with women I wouldn't consider having a relationship with. But meaningful sex is way better, as it's more than just sex. It's about intimacy and bonding. Not something I tell a partner though. Your feelings are valid and you should tell your partner how it makes you feel. I got massively hurt once when a partner told me she could call up any fuckboy if she wanted to, but just not in a relationship. Like I could hook up with some girl too. Not as easily. But I wouldn't tell you that. Jesus Christ. Hugh looks at someone who is bothered by this and knows it's bothering them, and then proceeds to say that those men were great in bed. What a great way to put the final nail in the coffin. If her intent was to come off as insensitive, I'd say she did a fine job with the way she handled the situation. I went through something similar with a girlfriend saying something really insensitive while we dated about how big her eggs was. I didn't even ask. It really hurt me and it took a few months to get over it. I talked to her about it, but she sort of made it worse at first. Eventually I stopped thinking about it or caring. We broke up later for totally different reasons, but after the breakup she used that thing she said to hurt me again. I'm not saying your girlfriend is a bad person, but if she said something like that, I don't think she is very emotionally mature. I'm usually suspicious of people that say stuff like that to their partner. Don't worry. You will get over this insecurity. But just be careful with this girl. If she has the power to let that kind of stuff slip, she is either dumb or she is cruel. She might not mean to be cruel, but some people just are. Sex is an activity. Why would you expect it to be any more superlative with your partner than tennis or dancing the tango? She chose you despite the fact you aren't the top-ranking lay of her life. You've only had sex with 3 women too. If you'd had sex with more, I bet you'd find your wife wasn't the best either. She's dating you for a reason. Just try to remember that.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.